For the first hot take from Zenmaster619, Cal Raleigh is the American League MVP. I absolutely hate when MVP debates are so close because no matter what, you're going to make a whole bunch of people grumpy, but it is what it is. So right now, the top two contenders for AL MVP are Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge, both having incredible seasons up to this point. Now, we might as well start with Cal Raleigh here, and this guy's been amazing this year. He's hitting .241, .352 on base, a .581 on the slugging, a .157 WRC plus, 50 home runs, which is the most ever for a catcher in a single season, and we still have another month to go here, for crying out loud. Now, not only has he been getting it done with the bat, but he's providing very good value defensively. Now, taking a look at the StatCast numbers here, the blocks above average are only in the 9th percentile at this point, but he's throwing runners out, he's in the 79th percentile there, and he's one of the best framers in the game, ranking in the 85th percentile. Now, I do want to touch on framing real quick. Now, I see a lot of people out there saying framing is a bit overrated, but to me, when there's around 150 pitches per game, being able to have that ability can not only give the pitchers better results, but also help change the outcome of a game. As for Aaron Judge, he's putting up video game numbers up to this point, hitting .321, a .441 on base, a .666 on the slugging. That adds up to an OPS over 1100, a .194 WRC plus. All of those numbers lead in all of Major League Baseball. No, he doesn't have 50 home runs up to this point. He's got 42, though. That's pretty good if you ask me. Now, defensively, like I said, Cal Raleigh is providing a lot of value behind the plate, but Judge is no slouch either out in right field. As you can see here, he ranks well when it comes to the range, the arm value, and the arm strength. So right now, when you weigh both their seasons, I think it's extremely close. Now, Raleigh, he's doing something that's very rare for a catcher, putting up some of the best offensive numbers in the game, while also ranking near the top in fielding run value as a catcher. You just don't see that. As of right now, when it comes to the all-time leaderboards for catchers in a single season, Cal Raleigh is currently 19th overall when it comes to Fangraph wins above replacement. By the end of the season, he absolutely has a shot to finish top 10 all time. So that's very significant. So I think Raleigh absolutely has a case here for the MVP. But then again, I mean, you got to look at Aaron Judge as well. I mean, these numbers are absolutely ridiculous. He leads all of Major League Baseball in all of the major categories, minus home runs, of course. But with Judge, he absolutely has a case as well. Now, I do think if the season were to end right now, and thinking about how the voters like to think, I do believe Raleigh would win the MVP because it's not just about the numbers to the voters. Yes, that is a big deal, but there's also the storylines as well. Raleigh, he's already made history this year with a month to go, setting the single season record for home runs by a catcher. And Judge, he absolutely deserves the award here as well. But I think when it comes to the history that Cal Raleigh's already made, I think that's going to make a big impact when it comes to the voting. So I do think right now he would win the MVP, but we still got a month to go here. If Judge just goes off on a tear here over the next month, then I definitely think he can win the award. Right now, I think it's a toss-up. For the next hot take, we have the Reds make the playoffs. So I was a bit high on the Reds coming into the year, mainly because they brought in one of my favorite managers of all time, Terry Francona. But up to this point, they have underperformed. They're 4 games back in the wild card. 1 game over 500, 69 and 68. They have been cold as of late, losing 8 out of their last 10. So they're not in a great spot right now, but there are some good things about the Reds this year. However, there are some bad as well. Now, starting off with the good, the starting pitching has been phenomenal. Overall, right now, they rank second in Fangraph wins above replacement, ERA at a 3.81, FIP at a 3.86, pretty solid strikeout to walk ratio, 8.5 to 2.5. And when you take a look at some of these seasons, I mean, they're getting solid performances this year. Andrew Abbott has an ERA at 2.65. Nick Lodolo has under 2 walks per 9, 1.6 walks per 9 compared to 8.7 strikeouts per 9. Brady Singer has been a solid pickup for them, making 26 starts up to this point. The FIP is at a 4.06, but the FIP is at a 3.83. Hunter Green did miss some time this year, but we all know how good this guy is. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball when he's healthy. Now, Zach Littell, he's actually been a pretty solid pickup for them since getting him from the Rays before the deadline. Now, as for Jace Burns, unfortunately, he's got an arm injury right now, so who knows if he's going to be coming back this year. But outside of him, they've been getting great performances. As for the bullpen, I am a little worried about the bullpen overall. Over the last 30 days, sure, 9.6 strikeouts per 9. That's really solid. ERA to 3.56, but these walks and the home runs really worry me. 4.5 walks per 9, 1.5 home runs per 9. That FIP is at a juicy 4.78, so that worries me a little bit. Now, when it comes to the thing that worries me the most about the Reds are the bats. Taking a look at where the Reds rank offensively this year, only 25th overall, only hitting 246 as a group with a 317 on base, a 390 on the slugging, only a 92 on the WRC+. Now, sure, Elly De La Cruz is Elly De La Cruz. He's going to give you some pop, some speed, and TJ Friedl has been very good at the leadoff spot, very good on base percentage this year. But outside of that, they've had a lot of guys underperforming and a lot of injuries as well. Matt McLain has been a huge underperformer this year. This is a guy I was so high on a couple of years ago. He hurt his shoulder last year, missed all of 2024, and just hasn't really found his form coming back this year. Spencer Steer has not had a good year this year, and they've had some injuries with Noelvi Marte, Austin Hayes, Christian Encarnacion Strand. They've all missed a lot of time this year. So yeah, the starting pitching has been very good, but they just haven't been able to hit consistently. They've had a lot of injuries. The bullpen has been a bit up and down as of late, so I just worry about this Reds team being able to make a run. I really hope they can get hot here in the last month, and I'll say this, never say never when it comes to making a run in September. We've seen it plenty of times in the past, so if they can stay healthy over the next month and they can really get these bats going, get hot, and that pitching stays strong and maybe the bullpen just kind of works those kinks out a little bit, then yeah, I think they're capable of going on a run. But are they going to be able to overcome this? And you also got this beef in the National League as well. The Cubs, the Padres, the Mets. Sure, the Mets, they're in the third wild card spot right now. They've been a little up and down in the second half, but they got a ton of talent there. So I think it's going to be really hard to overcome a team like that for the third wild card spot. Right now, I'm feeling pretty low on the Reds' chances for this year. Now, I will say this, regardless of what happens with the Reds this year, I do think they need to have a big offseason. I think they need to go out there, go get a couple of bats for the lineup, especially when it comes to the power. They rank very low when it comes to both home runs and slugging percentage this year. To me, I say you go after the hometown guy, Kyle Schwarber. For the next hot take, we have a team to never win a World Series will win it this year. Either the Mariners, Padres, or the Brewers. I think if there's ever a time for a team to break a World Series drought, this year could give us a very good shot. You got the Brewers as of right now with the best record in all of Major League Baseball. The Mariners have been playing some good baseball this year. They got some great starting pitching over there. The offense has been a lot better this year compared to last year. And the Padres, my goodness, they have a ton of talent over there. That bullpen is absolutely stacked. They got the second wild card spot as of right now. So I think all three of these teams have a great shot. Now, when it comes to the Brewers, they're looking great this year. They rank 5th in offense, top 10 in starting pitching, and their bullpen ranks 6th overall. Now, when it comes to the Brewers, they're always a very good team in the regular season, but they always have trouble rising to the top in the postseason. It seems like every year they got a good-looking team. People want to pick the Brewers, but they just find a way to make an early exit in the postseason. But this year with the Brewers, there's something different about this team, and they're doing really well against some of the best teams out there. They have a 41-23 record against teams over 500. The starting pitching, I think, is looking very good for the postseason. You got two guys right now that can go 1-2, Freddie Peralta, Brandon Woodruff, and you got a guy with some nasty stuff like Jacob Misarowski. He could absolutely be a weapon in the postseason as well. You got some solid depth with Quinn Priester, Jose Quintana. You got some solid arms in this bullpen. Abner Uribe, he's been one of the best relievers in baseball this year. Shelby Miller's been a great pickup for them. And when it comes to the offense, they got guys here that make a ton of contact. They get on base. They're just a pesky team. And you just got some good, solid bats that are well capable of stepping up in the postseason. Obviously, Christian Yelich, Jackson Chourio, Bryce Terang, he's been solid this year. Andrew Vaughn has completely turned it around here. You got a solid catcher in William Contreras. Guys like Caleb Durbin, Isaac Collins have broken out this year. Sal Frelick, this guy's just a gamer. I mean, the Brewers, they just got talent all over the place, but it's not just talent. They're just excellent with the fundamentals. But not just with the bats. They're one of the best teams out there when it comes to base running. They're excellent in the field. There's just so many boxes getting checked off with the Brewers this year. Now, moving on to the Mariners, and I think they're going to have a great shot as well because of the great starting pitching they have. I mean, look at the rotation here. You got Brian Woot, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo. Bryce Miller's had a down year, but he's got good velo. He's got pretty good stuff as well. You got starting pitching all over the place. Then we take a look at the back end of the bullpen. You got guys that can just shut it down back there. Andres Munoz, one of the best closers in baseball. Matt Brash, that guy's nasty. Gabe Spire's been solid this year. So you have a lot of good arms here. And the offense has really improved this year. Remember last year, they had a tough time just getting on base. They were one of the highest ranked teams when it came to the strikeouts last year. Now, I'll get to the strikeouts in just a second, but now when it comes to the lineup, obviously, Cal Riley, we just talked about him earlier, having a phenomenal season this year, really bringing the power. Julio Rodriguez has been on fire as of late, just like he always does in the second half. Randy Rosarena has been solid, but they really beefed up the middle of the order with Josh Naylor, Eugenio Suarez, so they got a lot of extension in this lineup. I mean, you got J.P. Crawford batting 8th for crying out loud. Cole Young with the good bat that he has. Sure, still a rookie, but he's batting 9th. I mean, this lineup has a lot of good bats. But I do have some pause when it comes to a couple of things with the Mariners. Now, I mentioned the strikeouts. They have the 5th highest strikeout rate this year at 23.4%, and they actually have the 3rd highest over the last month. And the bullpen, like I said, they do got some good arms back there. However, they have been struggling as of late. Taking a look here, over the last 30 days, the Mariners bullpen only ranks 19th overall when it comes to Fangraph wins above replacement. Now, sure, decent amount of strikeouts, 9 per 9, 3 walks per 9, that's pretty good, but they're giving up a lot of home runs, and when it comes to postseason offenses, I mean, you're going to get some boppers that you're going to run into, so you got to find a way to limit these home runs. You got to limit the damage, especially in the postseason. So, taking a look here, ERA at a 4.67 over the last month, FIP at a 4.42, so I do worry about a couple of things here with the Mariners. And when it comes to the Padres, there's a lot to like here as well, and taking a look at the bullpen first, I mean, this bullpen is absolutely insane, especially after bringing over Mason Miller at the deadline. This bullpen ranks 1st overall in all of Major League Baseball right now. 9 strikeouts per 9, 3.4 walks per 9, under a home run per 9, ERA at a 3.01, FIP at a 3.54. You just have arms all over the place back here. Robert Suarez, Mason Miller, Jason Adam, Adrian Morejon having a great season this year. I honestly think one of the more underrated arms in the game this year. Jeremiah Estrada. Now in the postseason, if the starting pitching can just give you 5 innings, I mean, you can just hand it off to this bullpen and you're pretty much going to be set the rest of the way. You got a ton of arms back here. There are a couple of things I'm a bit worried about though, and let's take a look at the offense. And they've been having some injuries as of late. Fernando Tatis Jr. had something with his hamstring this weekend. Hopefully that's not going to be anything moving forward. And they've had a couple of other key injuries here as well, with Xander Bogaerts with the non-displaced fracture in his foot, Jackson Merrill dealing with a sprained ankle. So hopefully they can get healthy for the postseason. Now, they still have some really good bats in here. Obviously, you got Fernando Tatis Jr. if he's healthy, Manny Machado, Ryan O'Hearn, Ramon Laureano. They got those guys at the deadline. Luis Arraez, you know he's going to be just hitting the ball left and right. So they got bats in this lineup, but I just wonder if they're going to be healthy for the postseason. That's going to be a big key. And I'm also a little worried about the starting pitching. Now, Nick Pivetta has been a solid pickup for them this year, but Dylan Cease, he's been very up and down. Now, he has good metrics. He's racking up the strikeouts, but he's been giving up some hard hit balls this year. He's been giving up more home runs than usual this year. So who knows what's going to happen with him moving forward. Yu Darvish, he came back from the IL not too long ago, but since coming back, he's been very up and down. And Michael King is also dealing with another injury as of right now. He's dealing with the shoulder for a little while there. He came back, but now he's dealing with something with the knee. So I'm not sure what the health is going to be like for the rotation here. Again, luckily, you have this great looking bullpen here, but you still need some starting pitching in the postseason. So I think the big thing with the Padres right now is they just got to get healthy. Now, out of these 3 teams, I do like the Brewers the most, and I know every single year, a lot of people like the Brewers going into the postseason, but this year, something just feels different. So for over 10 years now, I've been into competitive powerlifting, agonizing through my squats and deadlifts every single week, and while I have built some decent strength, a little bit of muscle, mostly fluff along the way, I've also had a lot of times where my low back, upper back, traps, my neck, you name it, are just absolutely wrecked, tight, feeling like I've just gotten hit by a truck. But also, for the last 5 years or so now, I've been sitting right here, working on videos, doing live streams, and sometimes I tend to sit a little bit too long, my back starts to hurt, my neck starts to get cranky. However, I've been using something lately that is helping me a ton, and it's actually right here with us right now. Can you guess what it is? It's this bad boy right here, the Easy Back and Neck Massager by Bob and Brad. The world's greatest physical therapists on the internet, Bob and Brad, have been right here on YouTube for years, and I've watched a ton of their stuff to help me getting to feel better. But over the years, they've created their own great quality products to help people feel better, with the latest being this massager. I'm gonna tell you right now, this thing is absolutely fantastic. It's so versatile and has an ergonomic design, so it can fit comfortably on my upper back, on my chair, and even on my neck while I'm laying on my bed. All you gotta do is plug it in and turn it on with one button, and not only do the massagers feel wonderful, but they also heat up too. You see those red lights? That means it's warm, and I'm telling you, it's amazing. Now, for me personally, I've been using this at my desk while I'm working on something. I'll use it after the gym if my back's feeling a little tight, feeling a little tired, but I'll also use it every single night before bed. Really helps me wind down because it's very relaxing. So whether you're an athlete, you just go to the gym, or you're just looking for some relief after a long day at the office, or maybe you're just trying to treat yourself or someone else, I couldn't recommend this product anymore. Head down to the description below and use the code BOBBRADBACK to get 10% off and enjoy. For the next hot take, we got Bob Melvin gets fired. Now, the Giants have been a huge disappointment this year. As of right now, they're 68-69. Have been playing better as of late, winning 7 out of their last 10 games, but still 5 back in the wild card race. Now, with the Giants, I was really liking the way they were looking coming into the year. They brought in Willie Adames. Robbie Ray was coming back for a full season to go along with Logan Webb in the rotation. And then they traded for one of the best bats in the game in Rafi Devers. But since the trade, he hasn't been hitting as well as he was with the Red Sox, and the Giants are playing under 500 since he came to town. Now, because of that, along with the fact that Melvin was brought in by former president of baseball operations Farhan Zaidi, I do think there is a good chance that Posey could end up going in a different direction. Now, they did exercise Melvin's option for 2026, but in the end, it's still a lame duck year. And when the media did ask Posey about Melvin's future recently, Posey pretty much avoided the question. He sidestepped it, said their focus was on the rest of the season. So I think that could be pretty telling in itself. In the end, I do think with all the talent they have and with the disappointing year, I do think Posey is going to go after a different manager for next season. So I agree with this hot take. Moving on to the next one. Nick Kurtz is signed to a long-term extension, the largest extension in A's history before the end of the season. Holy cow, how about the season Nick Kurtz is having this year? I remember thinking when he got drafted by the A's, he reminded me of Jason Giambi with the A's back in the early 2000s. Just a beast in the box. He gets on base a ton, hits for a lot of power. He's just incredible this year. He's hitting .308 with a .402 on base, OPS at a 1.034, 27 homers, 70 RBIs, and just 334 ABs. He's absolutely going to win Rookie of the Year. Now, I know Roman Anthony is having a great year as well, but these numbers are off the charts. Now, when it comes to the A's, we all know how they've operated over the years, but I think it makes a lot of sense here to approach Kurtz with a big extension. Now, yes, they are a small market team, but you've been seeing these small market teams locking up these young guys to these big extensions. So I think it would make sense for the A's, who are going to be going to Vegas in a couple of years here. I think this has got to be their superstar player moving forward. I say throw 10 years, say around $150 million down on the table. Keep this guy with the A's for the next 10 years. Moving on to the next one from Alex on Twitter. Peyton Tolley becomes the Red Sox #2 starter this season and leads them behind Garrett Crochet to a World Series. So let's talk about Peyton Tolley, one of the top pitching prospects in the game, who looks like Ron Swanson for crying out loud. He just got called up recently. He looked great against the Pirates in his debut, striking out 8. And I'm telling you, look out for this guy moving forward. He's a massive guy at 6'6". His fastball is one of the best pitches in all of baseball because of the velo and the life on it, combined with the fact that he has a ton of extension, and he's got some pretty solid secondaries as well. Good slider, cutter, and a changeup. Now, when compared to Lucas Giolito and Brian Bayo, who both have been very good this year, I do think he fits more of the profile of a #2 because of the stuff that he has, but of course, the lack of experience is going to hold him back in that department. But I do think he has the stuff to give the Red Sox rotation a huge lift. Now, could he pull a 2008 David Price and help the Red Sox get to the World Series? Well, listen, the Red Sox have looked great ever since the Rafi trade, with guys like Roman Anthony and Trevor Story stepping up big time in the lineup to go along along with Alex Bregman and Jarren Durant. And don't forget, Nathaniel Lowe is hitting a lot better since going to the Red Sox, hitting over 300 with an OPS over 850. The bullpen has also been phenomenal this year. Aroldis Chapman, he's been fantastic. Garrett Whitlock's been great. Justin Slayton just came back. So bullpen's looking good. Starting pitching is looking up. But where I do worry about the Red Sox, though, when it comes to the lineup, is their ability to hit with runners in scoring position. They've been very middle of the road this year. They've looked awful at times. They've looked great at times, but you just don't know, what you're going to get week to week when it comes to the Red Sox when they got those opportunities to score. There's been so many games where they leave a ton of runners on base, and there's just so many more runs to be had. So I just worry about that when it comes to the postseason, unless you just got some god-tier starting pitching. And sure, you got Garrett Crochet here, one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. He's going to get the ball for game 1, but what happens game 2, game 3 in a wild card series? What happens in a game 3, game 4, game 5 situation if you get to the division round? So that's where I have some pause. Sure, you do have some solid arms here, and Peyton Tolley can definitely give them a lift, but it's going to come down to the offense, whether or not they can execute in those high leverage situations. So I hate to say this, but right now I would lean more towards no on winning the World Series. Now, luckily for the Red Sox, the American League, in my opinion, is wide open. Now, the Tigers have looked great this year, but there have been times this year where they haven't looked so great. The Yankees could look like one of the best teams in baseball one week, and then the next week, Yankee fans are jumping off a cliff saying they'll never go to a Yankee game ever again. Now, the Blue Jays, they have looked very solid as well, but are they going to be able to finally get over that hump? They've had trouble with that over the last few years. So I feel like this American League, I feel like in this American League, the Red Sox do have a shot here. So with the American League being wide open, I do think the Red Sox have a shot, but I think there's just been a lot of inconsistencies this year that hold me back a little bit. And last but not least, from Froggy Fresh on Twitter, Christopher Sanchez pulls off the ultimate upset robbery and wins the NL Cy Young. A guy that just keeps flying under the radar is Christopher Sanchez with the Phillies, and once again, he's having another great year. ERA at 2.66, FIP at a 2.58, 9.6 strikeouts per 9, 2.1 walks per 9, a half a home run per 9, and as of right now, he ranks 4th overall when it comes to Fangraph wins above replacement, and 2nd overall in the National League. The only man in front of him is Paul Skeens. Now, I think a big factor here is going to be the schedule over the next month for both these guys. Now, when it comes to Sanchez and the Phillies, it looks like Sanchez is going to be going up against the Marlins, the Mets, the Dodgers, maybe the D-backs, and then you got the Marlins one more time, the Twins, so I'm pretty sure he's going to fit somewhere in there as well. So he's got some division matchups here. You got the Dodgers here with their good lineup. So there could be some interesting matchups when it comes to Sanchez. And, I'm mainly looking at those division matchups. The Marlins, they're a pesky team this year. The Mets, obviously, they got some solid bats there. Those two teams know him well. So maybe that could be a bit of a problem. Now, for the Pirates, it looks like Skeens is going to be going up against the Dodgers here soon. And then after that, it looks like he'll go up against the Orioles. He would have the Cubs, maybe the A's as well. And then he could have a final start against the Braves at the end of the year. So I think for me, now sure, Skeens, he looks like he is going to be going up against some tough lineups with the Dodgers and the Cubs, but he's got the Orioles in there, he's got the A's in there, the Braves, they've been a disappointing team this year. So I think in the end, Paul Skeens is probably going to hang on to this award. And when you take a look at the numbers with Skeens, they're off the charts. ERA at a 2.05, and Skeens does lead Sanchez in strikeouts. He has 187 compared to Sanchez at 181. And the voters, when it comes to picking for the Cy Young, they look at ERA and the strikeouts. So I think Skeens right now is the bet for me. But everybody, those are the hot takes that I have for this episode. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Give me some of your own hot takes. We got the final month of the season coming up. If you can on the way out, hit the like button for me, subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.